I wondered why you weren't there to meet our guests. You begged us to summon the king in the north. Don't you want to see him again?
I've done my part. I've brought ice and fire together.
I really believe that Melisandre was going to pull a Kevin Durant in Season 7 and just jump on the Targaryen bandwagon. Melisandre is the biggest jumper in Westeros. Stannis, Jon, Daenerys. Next, it's going to be the Night King. Daenerys came into Season 7 with the best chance of conquering the Seven Kingdoms, and I assumed Melisandre would become one of her advisors. Rather than advising Daenerys, Melisandre travels back to Essos, specifically the city of Volantis. Before she leaves, she tells Varys that she will return.
I will return, dear Spider. One last time.
My lady.
I have to die in this strange country. Just like you.
We can make several assumptions about the purpose of Melisandre's journey to Volantis because that's what we do here. We take small bits of information and then we wildly speculate about them. And then when Season 8 comes along, we get to read all the comments of people mocking us for being wrong. It's a never-ending cycle for Game of Thrones theorists. Now, before we start, I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Squarespace is a great website that allows you to design your own website. They have a wide variety of different templates and designs, so you don't need any prior knowledge in coding or web design. And if you use the link squarespace.com/nerdsoup, you'll get 10% off your first purchase. Alright, let's get back to it. Melisandre tells Varys that she is traveling to Volantis. Volantis was founded almost 2,000 years before the events of the first A Song of Ice and Fire novel, and is considered one of the richest and most powerful city-states in Essos. It is the southernmost free city in Essos, and its large harbor makes it one of the richest trading outposts in the world. Its colloquial name is the First Daughter, since it was the first major outpost of the Valyrian Empire. We've actually seen Volantis twice in Game of Thrones. The first time was in Season 5, during Tyrion and Varys' travels to meet Daenerys. The pair listen to a sermon given by a Red Priestess, who preaches about their savior, Daenerys Targaryen.
We're going to meet the savior. You should have told me. Who doesn't want to meet the savior?
Tyrion is then kidnapped by Jorah Mormont in one of Volantis' brothels. We also see Theon and Yara visit that same brothel in Season 6 before they travel to Meereen to meet Daenerys. While Tyrion and Varys were traveling through Volantis, they crossed over what is known as the Long Bridge of Volantis, a great structure which connects the two major sections of the city. The eastern side is known as Old Volantis, and is home to an older district that is surrounded by 200-foot-tall black walls. It's believed that the Great Black Walls were forged by the fire of a dragon. Only those who can trace their ancestry directly back to Old Valyria are allowed to live within the Black Walls. Many of those who live within the Black Walls keep the gods of Old Valyria. Those who live outside the walls are usually followers of the Lord of Light, R'hllor. The eastern section of Volantis is also home to the Temple of the Lord of Light. The Temple of the Lord of Light is the largest and most famous of the many red temples found throughout Essos, and is said to be 3 times the size of the Great Sept of Baelor. Red temples are places of worship for the followers of the Lord of Light and the faith of R'hllor. Red priests and priestesses conduct their evening devotions at these red temples. They are also known to receive children, and they also buy slave children to be raised as priests, warriors, or temple prostitutes. Melisandre herself was a slave who was sold to a red temple. The Temple of the Lord of Light in Volantis is protected by an army of slaves known as the Fiery Hand. They are known as slaves of R'hllor, wearing ornate armor over orange robes. Their faces are branded with tattoos of flames, and their number is 1,000, never more, never less. The high priestess of the Temple of the Lord of Light is Kinvara, who made her first on-screen appearance in Season 6. This character was created specifically for the show. In the books, the high priest of the Temple of the Lord of Light is a man named Benerro. Kinvara meets with Tyrion and Varys in the Great Temple of Meereen, and she agrees to help them control the people of Essos by spreading the word of Daenerys Targaryen. Instead of seeing Daenerys as a foreign invader, the Red Priests and Priestesses help convince the people of Essos that Daenerys is a savior. She is the one who was promised, born again to remake the world and lead the living through the darkness. Kinvara also completely owns Varys in this scene. It's pretty funny.
You heard a voice call out from the flames, do you remember? Should I tell you what the voice said? Should I tell you the name of the one who spoke?
He's so freaked out. Look at him. Oh my god. With Season 8 being cut short to 6 episodes, the majority of the season will probably focus on the Great War, so Melisandre is most likely traveling to Volantis to simply rally the people to their cause. Being that Volantis is one of the richest and most powerful city-states, and is home to the largest Red Temple, they could provide additional support for Jon and Daenerys in their fight against the Night King in the form of soldiers and supplies. The Fiery Hand sounds like a group of badass Lord of Light worshipping warriors, and it would be awesome to see them make an appearance on the show, all tatted up with flames across their faces like a bunch of sickos. Now, in the books, the Fiery Hand are slaves, so the show may have to change that, being that Daenerys is the breaker of chains. Melisandre may try to convince the High Priestess Kinvara to allow the Fiery Hand to travel back with her to Westeros. Kinvara might also decide to travel to Westeros herself in order to assist Jon and Daenerys in their fight. Being that Melisandre isn't allowed to travel north, she may ask Kinvara to take her place as an advisor. It would also be great to see a reunion between Kinvara and Varys. We might finally learn what Varys heard in the flames when he was castrated by the second-rate sorcerer. We were also promised a reunion between Melisandre and Arya way back in Season 3. If Arya decides to hold a grudge about Gendry's kidnapping, then Melisandre better get to work on making another shadow baby. Volantis may not be Melisandre's only stop in Essos. The faith of R'hllor is ubiquitous throughout the continent. There are red temples in Braavos, Lys, Myr, Pentos, Sahoris, Tyrosh, and Volantis. And we can assume the Lord of Light has millions of followers all throughout the eastern continent. If Kinvara kept her word, and the Red Priests have continued to preach to the common folk about Daenerys' fight, then thousands of followers will righteously volunteer to fight beside the Dragon Queen. Once again, there's only going to be 6 episodes in Season 8, so I don't think we will actually see Melisandre travel to or really appear in Volantis at all. We'll probably see her return, her triumphant return, joined by an army consisting of the Fiery Hand and thousands of followers of the Lord of Light. And I hope we get to see Kinvara again because, you know, she's very attractive. But keep the necklace on. Whether or not we see the Fiery Hand in Season 8, I don't know. Nobody knows, but it would be cool. Regardless, we know for certain we'll be seeing at least one Eastern army in Season 8. During the season finale of Season 7, Cersei reveals that she sent Euron Greyjoy and the Iron Fleet on a secret mission to escort the Golden Company to King's Landing. After suffering heavy losses to Daenerys' army, Cersei secures a loan from the Iron Bank and hires the Golden Company to fight for House Lannister.
I need to expand my armies, my navies. My hand, Qyburn, has made overtures to the Golden Company in Essos.
I know them well. They've helped us recover significant sums from parties who'd fallen into deep arrears.
It's good to hear. I too would like them to recover some things that belong to me.
Including the Golden Company in Season 8 is a bit odd, seeing that their storyline from the novels was all but eliminated from the show. I mean, it's a nice nod to the books, but it adds another element to a story that's supposed to be coming to a close. Regardless of their role in Season 8, we can expect the Golden Company to have a major impact on any battles that they fight. The Golden Company carries a reputation as the largest and most formidable sellsword company in the world. They were founded shortly after the end of the First Blackfyre Rebellion, which was fought between House Targaryen and House Blackfyre. Now, a little backstory into how the Golden Company was founded. During the First Blackfyre Rebellion, House Targaryen was led by King Daemon II, and House Blackfyre was led by Daemon Blackfyre I. Both Daemon and Daemon were sons of King Aegon IV, with Daemon being the king's first true-born son and Daemon being the king's first bastard son. In truth, we can really just thank King Aegon IV for the Blackfyre rebellions, since his incompetence directly caused the rebellions to happen. Known as Aegon the Unworthy, King Aegon IV was considered one of the worst kings in the history of Westeros. In his youth, he was an intelligent, handsome, and robust prince, with much promise, but as he grew older, he became dominated by his desires. Aegon's lust, gluttony, and corruption corruption destroyed his ability to rule. His personal desires clouded his better judgment, and he fathered numerous bastards with several different women. His final decree to legitimize his bastards on his deathbed would haunt House Targaryen for over half a century. Several very important characters that appear in Targaryen and Westerosi history were known as the Great Bastards of King Aegon IV, including our very own Three-Eyed Raven. Daemon Blackfyre, the founder of House Blackfyre, was the most famous of King Aegon's so-called Great Bastards. Daemon was born to King Aegon Targaryen and Princess Diana Targaryen, who was King Aegon's cousin. When Daemon was 12 years old, he participated in and won a squire's tourney. His father, King Aegon, acknowledged his legitimate son for the first time by personally knighting him after his victory. King Aegon also gifted his bastard son the Targaryen Valyrian steel sword, Blackfyre. Daemon would then go on to take the name Blackfyre for himself. The gifting of the sword Blackfyre to Daemon would sow the seeds of inevitable rebellion. Many people considered the Valyrian steel sword to be the symbol of House Targaryen's monarchy, since it first belonged to Aegon the Conqueror, the first Targaryen king. Whispers began of Daemon's right of succession in favor of one of King Aegon's true-born sons. Nevertheless, when King Aegon died, he was succeeded by his first true-born son, Daeron Targaryen II. 12 years after King Aegon's death, Daeron's rule was challenged by his half-brother Daemon Blackfyre. Daemon reversed the colors of House Targaryen's sigil to create the Blackfyre sigil. His new sigil earned him the nickname the Black Dragon, and his true-born brother King Daeron was nicknamed the Red Dragon. The First Blackfyre Rebellion basically split the continent in two, with major houses fighting on each side of the conflict. The Black Dragon and the Red Dragon would fight for close to a year, but the rebellion ended in a decisive Targaryen victory. Daemon Blackfyre was killed during the Battle of the Redgrass Field by his half-brother Brynden Rivers, who fought on the side of King Daeron. Brynden Rivers and his team of archers, known as the Raven's Teeth, rained down hundreds of arrows on the battlefield, killing both Daemon Blackfyre and his two sons, Aegon and Aemon. Aegor Rivers, one of the great bastards of King Aegon IV, fought on the side of his half-brother Daemon Blackfyre during the rebellion. After Daemon was killed during the Battle of the Redgrass Field, Aegor fled across the Narrow Sea with Daemon's two remaining sons. He also brought with him the Valyrian steel sword, Blackfyre. Aegor quickly noticed that the support for House Blackfyre was waning, with many of the lords and knights who fought with House Blackfyre signing up to fight with different sellsword companies in Essos. Thus, he founded his own sellsword company and named it the Golden Company. The Golden Company would go on to play a significant role in 3 of the next 4 Blackfyre rebellions. The Blackfyres, they just never gave up, and the Golden Company always fought on the side of House Blackfyre. Melisandre the Monstrous was the last Blackfyre to lead the Golden Company during the War of the Nine Penny Kings. He was slain by Barristan Selmy in single combat, who was said to have cut a bloody path through the Golden Company to reach Melisandre. Like mentioned previously, the Golden Company is known as the largest and most formidable sellsword company in Essos. Their motto is, "Our word is good as gold," in reference to their tendency to never break a contract. Their battle cry is, "Beneath the gold, the bitter steel," in reference to their founder, Aegor Rivers, better known as Bittersteel. It's said that the Golden Company is made up of exiles and sons of exile. Unlike other sellsword companies, the Golden Company are known to be extremely disciplined and honorable, and they are said to never break a contract, which is rare for a sellsword company. They have over 10,000 fighters, with 500 knights, each with 3 horses, 500 squires, each with 1 horse, and over 1,000 archers. These guys even have elephants, you know? They're on some Lord of the Rings shit.
That still only counts as one!
It does seem a bit odd to introduce the Golden Company so late in the game. It would make more sense if the show didn't totally eliminate the character of young Griff that appears in the novels. Young Griff was introduced in A Dance with Dragons as the firstborn son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Elia Martell. Yes, you've heard that correctly. For those who haven't read the books, Aegon Targaryen, the firstborn son of Rhaegar Targaryen, was never killed in the books. It's revealed that Varys managed to smuggle the baby prince out of King's Landing before the mountain could reach him, and he swapped his crib with an unknown baby. He was raised in Essos by Jon Connington, a childhood friend of Rhaegar Targaryen. The 2 exiles are currently going by the names Griff and Young Griff in order to hide their identities. Initially, in A Dance with Dragons, Young Griff plans to travel to Meereen and reveal himself to Daenerys. He plans to ask her to marry him so that they can retake the Seven Kingdoms together. But by the end of A Dance with Dragons, young Griff decides to sail to Westeros without Daenerys. He hires the Golden Company to help him retake the Seven Kingdoms for his family. Now, there's a really interesting and intriguing fan theory that claims that young Griff is not Aegon Targaryen, the firstborn son of Rhaegar, but he is the son of Illyrio Mopatis and Illyrio's second wife, Sarah, which would make him the last surviving male Blackfyre. It's a very dense and detailed theory, so I won't dive too far into it. So for the sake of putting the Golden Company in better context, let's assume that the theory is true. One of the main claims of the theory is that the Golden Company has never broken a contract, yet they break their contract with the Free City of Myr in order to fight with young Griff in A Dance with Dragons. Like mentioned previously, the Golden Company have fought and failed to seat a Blackfyre on the Iron Throne for over 100 years. Fans believe that the Golden Company are aware of young Griff's true identity, and that they have decided to make one last attempt at seating a Blackfyre on the Iron Throne. By excluding the young Griff storyline from the show, the Golden Company doesn't have that same incentive to fight against Daenerys or any other challengers to the throne. They are simply a well-equipped, extremely formidable sellsword company, which isn't a bad thing. Like I said, I'm excited to see them finally fight in a battle. They have a legendary reputation, and they should make a strong ally for the Lannisters, but how much time do we really have to focus on another battle between royal families? We want to see the Great War between the living and the dead, not another 15-minute battle here and there between squabbling houses. There's only 6 episodes left. I want to see Great War. I want to see Night King, Jon, Daenerys, the fight that we've been promised and have patiently waited for since Season 1. There is one scenario I can see playing out where the Golden Company decides to betray the Lannisters and fight on the side of Daenerys and Jon. Since there are no surviving Blackfyres on the show, I'm not even sure if the name Blackfyre is even mentioned. The Golden Company may decide to fight for Daenerys since she is the last known surviving Targaryen. Also, who wouldn't want to see an army of undead polar bears, ice spiders, giants, and a dragon go up against an army of direwolves, a warg, war elephants, and 2 dragons that aren't dead? That would be epic. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video, and if you like this video, leave it a like, share it with your friends, share it with your grandma. I don't know, she might like Game of Thrones. I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Squarespace is a website that allows you to build your own website, so you don't need to have any prior knowledge of coding, web design. Squarespace does all that for you. You don't need to be Mark Zuckerberg in order to build a site. So whether if you're a musician, a small business owner, if you want to be somebody like me who screams about movies on the internet, Squarespace has all the tools to help you build your site. And they also have 24/7, 365 support. So these guys are like robots. They never sleep. They're always ready to help you build your perfect site. And if you click the link, squarespace.com/nerdsoup, you'll get 10% off your first purchase. I wanted to take a quick second at the end of this video to do a shameless plug for our Patreon page. First off, I want to thank all the people that pledged to our Patreon page. It's a great honor to have you guys supporting us, helping us grow, helping us produce more videos moving forward. And if you click the link, patreon.com/nerdsoup, you can see all the rewards that we offer to our patrons. And even to the people that haven't pledged. It's just great to have you guys watching our videos, interacting, commenting, liking. So yeah, Aviva Dirty.